Yeah, well, welcome. Thank you so much for your interest. And this Competitiveness Summit is embedded in our main line after the European elections that European People's Party will deliver what we promised to our citizens. And one of the headlines we proposed in Bucharest 1 year ago in our EPP Party Congress, in our manifesto, was that we re-strengthen Europe, and competitiveness, economic strength is the fundament of our European strength. That's why today's summit is a key event in this regard to really guarantee this delivering aspect. I have to say that we had already some first promising messages from the Commission based on the EPP activities. One was last week, the omnibus proposal from the European Commission, good direction to less bureaucracy, to reduce red tape for our companies. That was based on decisions of the EPP Group in the European Parliament. That was based on the leaders' retreat of the EPP leaders in Berlin at the beginning of the year. So the party EPP is driving the issues in this regard, and that's good. I also want to mention one sectorial aspect where we already delivered, and that was today's presentation of the Commission on the car industry, a specific sectorial issue where we had now the first ideas about a roadmap to re-strengthen the car industry in Europe. So that is what is happening, that the Commission is now picking up the key proposals from the EPP to really deliver. Today, it's about listening. That is our approach of doing politics. That's why it's so great to have a high-level contribution to the competitiveness challenge today available for us. I want to thank all guests for joining us. It gives the event the necessary importance, obviously, and also the necessary dynamic for really guarantee that the ideas we will assess today are then finally delivered. I want to thank Christian Ehler, first of all, about our ITRE coordinator, who is the mind of these activities inside the man who has the spirit for the work in this field, in our EPP field. I think Dolores, as responsible ex-vice president of the group, can confirm that we are really proud about our ITRE team, who are really committed to this work. And finally, just to sum up, competitiveness is a broad field where we have a lot of issues in mind. We speak about pragmatic implementation of legislation, less bureaucracy. We stick to the Green Deal, but we want to see this happening in a non-bureaucratic way. We have to invest much more in innovation because that's a base for everything. We need cheap energy. That will be for sure one of the aspects today to be discussed. And then let me also mention that EPP is a party of trade. Europe can only be successful if we have modern trade agreements, Mercosur, for example, and we are the party of single market. Today we had a discussion in the European People's Party group about this aspect, and we believe that the substance of our market is so huge that the first and most important investment is to create the single market, to further strengthen the single market. That could be a great base also for future investments of our economies. So that's what is the Competitiveness Summit is all about. It will be a great evening today and another step forward for strengthening our industry.
Thank you very much. And we continue with Christian Ehler, who is the voice of the EPP in Parliament's Committee on Industry, Research and Energy.
But this is not, we are now jumping on board. This endeavor started before the summer when the chairman had been asking the group to organize a gathering, which was a very much smaller gathering here in the Parliament in July with 6 CEOs of the Antwerp Group, where we had been discussing what could be a competitiveness agenda for the next term. Then over the summer, that had been developed further with the president, and you saw then in the end of August a new agenda evolving, which puts competitiveness in the center of European politics. What is the meaning of the evening? First of all, it's about continuity and trust. The president had been announcing yesterday towards the broader public, but also to the Antwerp Group, a lot of announcement, a broad agenda on competitiveness, deregulation, certain ambitions in terms of strengthening the European infrastructure. And the first exercise is today EPP is reassuring industry that we're going to deliver here in the Parliament, because of a lot of what had been formulated has to come to life here in the Parliament. That's a matter of reassurance. So we share that agenda. And secondly, it has to get practical. We saw already a steel summit. We saw an automotive summit. But what we want to see and what had been foreseen in the Green Deal is 17 sectoral talks with the industry on the transformation plans, on the framework conditions, be it the financial sector, be it the regulatory framework, be it targeted subsidies, but be it also to think about what could be light market. So basically, it is about to really deliver the economic part of the Green Deal. We need a business case for the Green Deal. So the general politics of the EPP is we stick to the climate ambition, but we want to have a hands-on approach how to deliver on that. And that is something we're going to discuss, for example, tonight. If you talk about 2040 goals, we don't question the ambition, but then you clearly have to identify that we need CCS, CBAM, we need also the deliveries, the transformation pathways and the technologies, and also the financial backing for the industry to deliver on that. And I think there will be some painful discussions. The idea that we have strictly green hydrogen might not lead us to a ramp up in hydrogen. The idea that we had been avoiding to make decisions on CCS, be it transport or storage, that can't not work because we need that for the 2040 ambitions, and there are a number of practical initiatives. But what's most important is that we want to reassure industry that we're talking with the Commission what is the ongoing process. So we're not talking about summits and headlines, we're talking about a permanent stakeholder consultation in this upcoming process. And that will be the topics of today. They will be very practical, and it's not the last endeavor. The Parliament is going to follow that, and EPP will lead that. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Now I would like to ask our two guests to take the place at the microphones. First, I would like to give the floor to Anna Borg, CEO of Vattenfall. You have the floor.
Thank you very much. I'm very happy to be here and appreciate the invitation to this important event. I'm really looking forward to the discussions today, and to increase the competitiveness of European industry is absolutely key. It's also closely interlinked to investments in infrastructure, in energy, and in security. And I really hope that the discussions today will focus on how to move forward. And that's also what I hear from the stage. So that sounds very, very promising. But that is really needed to see how we now can move forward, because I think that that direction is very clear, but the pace is not. Thank you.
Luis Cabra, Vice CEO of REPSOL.
Thank you very much. We are really honored to be here, being invited to participate in these roundtables and conversations on industry competitiveness. I believe that we are in the new political cycle with we are much more aware of the needs of being competitive in our industrial sectors. The starting point has been good. We now have this clean industrial deal. We have the omnibus proposals, but we believe that we need more and we need to do it faster. So today we will have the opportunity of speaking very specifically about our goals, different sectors in industry. Just to give you a flavor, the clean industrial deal is signaling certain key sectors. They are well identified, but there are others that are a little bit forgotten. There are important strategic sectors not contemplated today in the clean industrial deal that needs to be in. In my case, I will be speaking about the fuels manufacturing sector that needs to transform and evolve from the conventional gasoline diesel that we produce from today to the new renewable and low carbon fuels. And this needs to be done with an obsession for technology neutrality. We have heard and we really appreciate the decarbonization ambition is set by the institutions. It's up to the Parliament, it's up to the European Commission, all the legislation. But legislation shouldn't be identified which are the good technologies or the bad ones in order to solve. Definitely we need a lot of solutions, and we need entrepreneurs to take risks and invest in the solutions for decarbonization that we believe are the best for our industries and the best for our consumers and citizens. So we will go into a little bit more detail today, if we are allowed to do so, and I'm really appreciating the kind invitation of the EPP. I believe that there is, again, saying that we need to go faster and we need to have a wider picture of the key strategic sectors in the European Union, and the EPP can make a great job on even pushing further the activity of the, well, in principle, European Commission, and then going to the political process of approving improved legislation. So thank you very much for your invitation.
The summit will start in a couple of minutes, but we have now time for 1 or 2 questions. Maybe we start here. Please tell who your question is directed to and from which media you are.
Hello, my name is Siobhan Hall. I'm from Montel News, and we're an energy news agency, so it's on energy. I have a question for Mr. Ehler. One of the issues about competitiveness is energy prices. The Commission just proposed extending some gas storage targets in order to make the prices not spike as much over the next few months. It's going to the Parliament. How quickly can the Parliament agree on a gas storage proposal update? And for Vattenfall, another aspect of competitiveness is electricity prices, and long-term contracts is one of the key ideas. Are you looking at long-term contracts, the power purchasing agreements, based on nuclear as well as renewables? And do you see market demand for those kind of PPAs?
So in practical terms, the EPP is very skeptical about substantial market or price interventions. At times it made sense when there is too much speculation in the market, but in principle terms, this is not instruments which are going prices down. Prices are going down if we deliver on our ambitions. It is delivering on renewables, it is delivering on infrastructure investments, it's delivering on business cases. But to believe that price interventions could, in perspective, simply dropping prices, there we are very skeptical. On storage, that's a differentiated picture. You all know that the storage obligations are, from a strategic point, and given the geopolitical situation, had been a reason. On the other hand, that simply, I mean, if I may say that as a German for a moment, that Germany had been at all costs buying and filling up storage in Europe had been driving costs dramatically. So we have to have a closer look. What is the interaction of prices, of a storage directive, the question when we are stipulating prices by regulatory efforts. So that is a delicate discussion we are going to have in the Parliament.
On the question of PPAs, yes, we definitely work with PPAs and have done for a very long time. There is a demand for that. The demand mainly comes from companies with strong balance sheets, because it's quite a lot of risk over a long period of time. So actually supporting with credit guarantees, for example, could also open up the space for smaller companies to participate in that market. When it comes to what technology is asked for, in the contracts, it's so far mainly been a demand for additionality, so for new built energy production, and then it has many times been connected to onshore or offshore wind. But Vattenfall is a company with a broad energy portfolio, so we own a hydropower, offshore and onshore wind, solar, but we also have a lot of nuclear in our portfolio existing, and we are looking into building new nuclear. And when we do that, we at the same time have a discussion with industry partners on long-term agreements also connected to nuclear. So the demand is there, but mainly connected to additional generation.
There has been another question.
Thank you. Konrad Kramer from the Austrian daily newspaper Kurier. There has been strong criticism, mainly by socialists and Greens, about the changes to the due diligence directive, which are planned now. Do you stand, as talking to the two chairmen, of course, do you stand by the position that yes, this means a cutback of these regulations because these regulations have been an overburden to the industrialist and to the economy?
Well, I have to be clear. Socialists and some of those who criticize now the proposals on the omnibus have not yet understood what is going on in the economy, what is going on in the business sector. So I have to say, socialists were traditionally Workers' Party of Europe. They were close to trade unions. They understood what is happening on the ground. Today I see a quite ideological approach of doing politics, and that's why we continue our approach. We are happy that the Commission is opening now the door, and I can also be clear that we in the European Parliament, as EPP Group, will also consider to go even further as what was proposed now by the Commission, because we have to send now also a political clear message to the business sector that Brussels understood the problems. Brussels will change. European legislation will change. And in this regard, again, the message is clear, welcoming the proposals, and we will go even further.
We have time for one last question. Yes, please go ahead here.
Thank you. Kurmaier for Euractiv. Does that mean that you want more out of the CBAM omnibus, which was largely left untouched? For example, in the Berlin Declaration, you demand a 2-year delay on CBAM. And speaking of renewables, you mentioned it earlier, Mr. Ehler, they're crucial. The Berlin Declaration demands an end to renewable targets as a concept. Is that something that you will enact in Parliament?
I mean, very important. There's a lot of interpretation what is then in detail had been really said. I personally would question that we would like to send an end to renewable target. I said exactly where's the triangle. We want to keep the climate ambition. We have to care about competitiveness, and we won't deliver on all sustainability ambitions which had been related to this big package of regulation. And that's the triangle we have to solve. And simply put, obviously we need more renewables, but obviously all these additionality questions, all these very ideological way to deliver on the delegated acts, that is not something the EPP is going to accept, and that is not something what the EPP leaders and the Council are going to accept. And to be concise, on a low carbon delegated act, which is practically make it impossible even to get green energy out of the grid to produce hydrogen, or have an ideological aspect simply punishing the national energy strategy, that has to come to an end. That is ideology delivered by second-tier legislation. And what we want to have, we want to keep it technology open, we want to have the ambition, but we would like to leave it to the industry and to the member states how to deliver on that.